How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with yet another review. A little bit of Brussels-born coffee Imperial Stout time in the form of Whack Imperial Coffee Stout from No Science Brewing. Yeah, never heard of these guys before. I've never had anything from these guys before. This is part of my fantasy football winnings from when I won my league this year. Came from my buddy Kevin, and I'm kind of really fucking pumped about this because I got this in and I did the unboxing, and I'm like, I have no idea what this is. And he sent me a couple, I believe there was a couple beers in there from Canada, like Montreal area. So I just assumed this was a Canadian brewery. On the bottom here, I see it says Brussels on the bottom. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, okay. So I gave it a quick look. I went on the internet. I know I usually don't do that shit. I was like, really? Kind of like, who makes this shit? And their website, and I have it kind of pulled up over here. It just said no bullshit, just IPAs, porters, stouts, and it said we do not make Belgian style, but we put our Belgian twist on there. So kind of curious to see what this sucker is going to hold. As far as what it says on here, it says Whack Imperial Coffee Stout, a beer artisanal, re-fermented in Bouteille Bier met Natzing in de Fles, whatever that means. No Science Brasserie, BXL. It says Best Buy 7 2019. Now I'm assuming this came out based off of what it kind of said on the internet. This came out maybe a year ago, so I think they're giving this a year. Does it look like people I couldn't find any information on it. Not that I looked too deeply, but I believe this came out in 2018. So, as far as ingredients go, man, it looks like malt. I can't read any of that stuff. So there you go. Let's just open this shit. So an Imperial Coffee Stout, less than a year old, so the coffee should hold up. You're talking about Belgian brewery, so hopefully it has a little bit of soft Belgian vibes to it, at least. And we'll see what's what. I'm always down for new beers, especially ones that are no idea. I never heard of them before. That's kind of Kevin's MO. He's quite the beer nerd. Horrible word to use, but it is what it is. I mean, that is pretty. If anything, that beer is pretty. You have almost a perfect finger of infinitely creamy beveling, super creamy, with a little bit of rockiness kind of floating around in the middle of that sucker. Super tight, compact bubble, malted malt ball colored head, followed by a rich dark body. It wasn't the darkest body in the history of mankind. You can get the kind of color kind of cascading through it. With rich mahoganies and browns and stuff like that, but when it's actually in the glass, it definitely looks all the part of being a big Imperial Stout. See if we can get a nose on this without starting too much foam. Nice rich coffee character. It has a bittering, soft bittering to it, soft chocolate vibes to it. There's a nice roast component to it. You're getting a bit of, I think that's a combination of roasted malt and the actual coffee itself. Yeah, it's nice. It smells soft. It smells chocolatey. It almost smells like a milk stout. The way that kind of sweetness is coming out, but I assume that's just kind of a malt base and an oat thing. It smells pretty. It smells nice. It smells like it has a nice bittering. It smells like it has a nice sweetness, but it doesn't smell like anything over the top crazy at the same time. Let's dive in. It doesn't smell like anything Belgian either. We'll see. It's a coffee stout. Did I get an ABV on here? I don't know. 9%. It's a coffee stout. Really, that's pretty much what it is. Thin. Thin, if anything, it tastes slightly kind of Imperial Porter kind of vibes. But it is quite thin. There's a nice bittering to it from the roast malt and from the coffee. But there's not enough kind of sweet. There's sweet from the malt. But it kind of clashes with the bitter as opposed to kind of bouncing off each other. And there is a big coffee component to it. It tastes like a regular non-cold press kind of coffee to it. And that's nice. It's drinkable. It doesn't drink anywhere close to the 9%. Actually drink closer to a 5-6% beer. It's nice. It's fine. It doesn't really do much for me as far as knee-jerk, visceral, oh, this is the best beer in the history of mankind. But I like it. I like it because it's giving me coffee vibes, and it's giving me fresh, roasted, legit coffee vibes on top of a nice, soft, almost like just not even Imperial porter, just like a porter base to it. And I'm not getting that metallic astringency I tend to get from sub 10% kind of darker beers. So there's like kind of a well-made cleanliness of the beer. But overall, it's a fine beer. It's nothing I'd write home about. It is definitely not one of the better coffee stouts that I've had as of late. But at the same time, it's a fun experience. Listen, not every single beer you're going to have is going to be the best beer you ever have. If you haven't learned that already and you're watching my videos, that's very weird. But it's kind of one of those things where you almost forget that mantra when, you know, that beer is all about exploration and trying new and different things and seeing what's good and seeing what isn't. And it's not necessarily that this beer isn't a good beer, but it just doesn't blow me away. And I could see kind of returning to this beer to see where it tracks in some time, or even going back to this brewery and trying different stuff in the brewery, because I like, there's bits and pieces of the beer that really intrigue me and I dig, but at the same time, just base, visceral, knee-jerk, is it delicious? It just kind of misses the mark for me. And while it is well made and the coffee presents itself quite nice, there's a lot more better tasting for my liking 9% coffee Imperial Stouts in my book. I mean, you know, the Mount Rushmore, we all know, your Peshmore Towels, those of the world. This is just kind of a bit below that, at least for me. But all in all, a fun beer to drink and a fun beer to try, and a new brewery in the books, and that doesn't suck. So let's talk about it. Is it one of the better coffee stouts that I've had as of late, on the outside looking in? Well, it's a well-made beer, and it does deliver what it says. It's a coffee stout. It kind of misses the mark of the Imperial. It's a little bit more porter-like, and just kind of lacks a bit of kind of what you'd expect from a beer of its ABV and style. Value and availability, no idea. Like I said, I want it and leave you with, if you like what we like this, if you like coffee stouts, I mean, if you're a coffee junkie, this is probably going to hit enough marks for you to really enjoy. And while I do love coffee, it's just not enough there for me to really get super excited over it. Super sneeze. I was trying to fight it back there. I was like, that's why I did it mid-sentence. I was like, okay, I can hold this one back. Anyway, nothing like seeing me sneeze on camera. Watch that in slow motion, please. Let me know how it comes out. Anyway, it's a fine beer. And let's put it this way. If I found another beer from this brewery, I'd absolutely pick it up. If I found this beer again in the future, a couple years down the road, a different year of it, I'd definitely pick it up. If I found it on draft, I'd be super intrigued. So it's not so much that I'm like, this sucks. I just don't even want to deal with this anymore. I'm intrigued enough to where I want to try more. Just this one just didn't really hit the marks for me. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little no science right now. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.